By your Northland Ford dealer, where pride makes the difference. By Coca-Cola, Coke adds life to football fun. And by Standard Oil and their thousands of independent dealers in the Twin Cities and throughout the Midwest. Now, here is KSTP Sports Director, Tom Ryther.
Good evening, everybody, and I have a confession to make. It's Saturday night now, and all week long I've been kind of cool, kind of calm, confident, I guess is the word, but I'm telling you tonight, and maybe, are you with me? I'm jittery. I'm nervous about that game tomorrow. I feel good about it, but it's almost as though, well, it's kind of a helpless feeling. They're 2,000 miles away from here, and we feel like we would like to do something, but I think the best thing we can do is kind of sit back and hope and root for them. As we know, the Minnesota Vikings have been there 3 times before, and they're there again. It is a record 4th appearance for an NFL team in the coveted Super Bowl of the National Football League. And it would be an awfully disappointing experience if they came home empty-handed once again. But the feeling here is that this is the Vikings' year. Although around the rest of the country, Oakland is favored by 3 to 4 points. If they play up to their potential, the Minnesota Vikings can beat Oakland in tomorrow's Super Bowl at the Rose Bowl in Pasadena. It's been another super season for the Minnesota Vikings. 11 wins, only 2 losses, and 1 tie, and of course 2 playoff victories on the road to Pasadena. We'll take a look at the season that was right after this. Let's go back a while now. Let's go back to preseason, and quite truthfully, the Minnesota Vikings did not have a very impressive preseason. They did not blow people out of the water, but there were reasons for that. Coach Bud Grant and his staff, really feeling that the club has to continuously change in order to remain competitive, they had to look at some new people. They had to experiment. They had to find out about some new things going on. And hopefully, as the season went along, they would fit the pieces together. And boy, did they at least serve notice in that first game at the New Orleans Superdome that they were going to have another good season in 1976. In the action at the Superdome, that game, well, we saw some things that we've seen for years. Fran Tarkenton running around. He looked like he was 22 years old in that game. Tarkenton, who no longer scrambles, but as they say now, buys time, started skittering around the floor of the Superdome like a cricket on a hot griddle. He was looking for anybody in a purple helmet to bail him out. It used to be guys like John Gilliam who did that. But this time it was a rookie out of Grambling, Sammy White, who was serving notice that he was going to be here to stay, and he was going to be a good one.
Well, as they say down home, going to be some big doings out there in Bloomington tonight at the Radisson South. We're going to get a little preview of what promises to be a very, very big evening in the world of professional athletics from our own Tom Ryther. Tommy, who you got there?
Stan, I tell you, this is a big night in sports, as most of the folks out there know. There's this great banquet is sponsored by the St. Paul and Minneapolis businessmen, or Minutemen, I should say, and they do have 50 tickets still on sale at the door here at the Radisson South in Bloomington, and if you have some time, you can still get over here. It looks like a who's who of the sports world, and we'll be meeting some of the guests in just a moment. And our own Ron Majors is the MC, along with comedian Maury Amsterdam here at the Radisson South. There's a basketball game in town tonight, somebody told me. Number 5 ranked Michigan, according to Associated Press, will go against the 8th ranked Gophers. That's right, they're now up to number 8 in Associated Press. They will square off at Williams Arena at 8 o'clock tonight, and the winner of that game will move into sole possession, first place in the Big Ten. The Minnesota Kicks of the North American Soccer League, they're going to have their top scorer, Alan Willie, back with them in 1977. All right, now let's meet some of the guests here, and first we go to a gentleman who is no stranger to Minnesota. He is a linebacker, as most of you know, with the Oakland Raiders, world champion Oakland Raiders. Monty, congratulations, and I'm going to have to hit you with a hard one right out of the tank. You were born and raised with in Bloomington, and you played against a team that was just a few minutes from your house. Obviously, there were no mixed emotions on January 9th.
Well, I felt that it was a great rivalry, being here, growing up in Bloomington, and having a chance to come back here and play against people and guys who I respected when I was a kid. I used to work at the stadium selling programs, and now I'm playing against them. It was like a dream come true.
Monty, in the Coast Press, the Los Angeles area and the New York area, they're saying that the Vikings could never belong in the same field with the Oakland Raiders. I want an honest answer from you. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that we have a strong team, and we have a very strong offensive team. And I feel that if we can get the ball to our offense, nobody can stay on the field with us. You look at Kenny Stabler, as great a quarterback as he is, and the receivers that we have, and our offensive line, there isn't anybody as good as we are, and it was proven this year in the Super Bowl.
Okay, honest answer. But, well, let's say if you were to play again next season, would it be 32-14? Or are you that much better than the Vikings?
Don't say that. We play again next year.
I know you do.
and luckily it's out in Oakland. What can I say? We've got a lot of players that were hurt. We're going to have them back this next year, and we should be that much better. I hope that it turns out that way.
Bob, what did happen on January 9th out there? I know you were watching with more than just passing interest.
No, I was. Don't put me on the spot. You had some loaded questions to him. Before
Listen,
I answer you,
if you say anything, I'm going to have the cameraman shoot his shoes. He has got the wrong shoes on tonight. Okay.
I'm glad you.
Now let's get back to the game.
Nothing about that. Hey, Monty, before you look to the Vikings next year, don't look past the Seahawks. We have to play them. We're gonna knock your tail off. I want to tell you that right now.
Okay,
Listen, before a brawl develops here, let's move on to baseball. That's right around the corner. This is our old pal Dave Winfield, former Gopher basketball great and baseball great now with the San Diego Padres. Hey, how come you're not at that basketball game tonight?
I'm thinking about it, Tom. I might get up while I'm saying a few words and go to take a little intermission, go to the men's room, and won't come back.
Sneak down to Williams Arena, right?
That's right. It should be a good one over there.
Hey, how do you like playing in San Diego and especially in the National League?
It's a beautiful place, San Diego. You can't beat it as a city. Minnesota's nice, and it's my home. But I'm very happy in San Diego. I'm doing well. I'm involved in a lot of activities, and I'd like to say I'm just glad they invited me back today, and this is a beautiful event right here.
Okay, now we have Butch Weiniger, Twins catcher, a great rookie season. Hey, we'd like to have this guy in a Minnesota uniform. He wouldn't hurt too badly. He can pitch.
Who, Dave can?
Yeah.
Dave pitches? I didn't know that. We could use some pitching right now, though. But I'd like to have his stick in the lineup also. I don't know a whole lot about Dave. I've seen him play and everything, but we can get that guy. Let's get him.
I saw him pitch. He's a good one. Hey, speaking of pitching, Butch, you're the guy behind the plate, and that seems to be the area that they need to shore up. I guess you'd like to see some things done there.
I really would. I know Gene Mock has permission to make any kind of deals that he thinks is going to help the team, and I sure hope that he makes some deals for some pitching. You never know. It could surprise you, and we come through with a good pitching staff, but I'd like to see something done with it.
Okay, and Stan, that's it. Live here at the Radisson. Our thanks to Monty Johnson, Robert Wrong Shoes Lertzema, Dave Winfield, and Butch Weiniger.
Tom, don't go. At least give us a verbal description of Lertzema's shoes. Come on. What
Well, they're kind of like camel skin sneakers.
high-heeled ballet shoes, something like that, huh? Good luck. Thank you.
Michigan proved to be stronger at the end by a score of 86-80, winning it before 17,500 fans at Williams Arena. And that means sole possession now goes to Michigan at about the halfway point in the Big Ten season. First half foul trouble kept the Gophers in hot water most of the way, so they really did well to make it close. Phil Hubbard puts Michigan on top 80-78 late in the game. Hubbard led all scorers with 24. Sugar Ray Williams then ties it with an off-balance jumper. He and Mike Thompson each had 20, but were in foul trouble most of the way. Jerry Grody hit a big jumper from the corner late in the game to put Michigan on top 82-80, and this will prove to be the winner as 5th-ranked Michigan goes to 11-1 in the conference, and 8th-ranked Minnesota, that's right, 8th-ranked according to AP, they are now 7-2, and there's that Grody jumper. Off a missed Ray Williams jumper, Ricky Green clears it to Stratton. He ices it away 84-80 with less than a minute remaining. Kevin McHale had a fine night for the Gophers with 18. The rematch will be February 19th at Ann Arbor, Michigan. And John Hink is at Williams Arena with Coach Jim Dutcher. And I tell you, John, it was a heck of a game. I'm anxious to find out what Jim has to say about it.
Yeah, Tom, a very disappointing loss, as Jim just expressed to me. Jim, I think foul trouble really hurt you tonight.
It did, and we got in foul trouble because of Michigan's quickness. They kept getting good inside position against our defense. We got there a step late and then had to foul them to try to prevent the basket. Ray having 4 at half definitely hurt us. We did not open with them in the second half. But to the credit of our ball club, we did come back. We took the lead late in the ball game, had another possession with a 2-point lead, and had a crucial turnover at that particular point. And after the turnover, Michael Thompson got his 4th foul. So it's a veteran Michigan team. If you give them too many opportunities to win, they're going to beat you. And we gave them too many opportunities to win.
Yeah, when you get in that foul trouble, you really can't rebound toward the end of the game like the Gophers tried to and really couldn't, because Michael Thompson is afraid of getting that final foul, right?
Yeah, that's true. And McHale also was riding 4 fouls. So we had 3 of our starters. Williams, Winey only had 3 at the time, but Thompson had 4. And it is difficult in that particular situation, particularly against a good ball club. Robinson was very strong for them. Phil Hubbard is a strong inside player. I thought Joel Thompson gave him a few minutes of good basketball. It's basically the team that went to the NCAA finals last year, and when you get them down 2 with 3 minutes to go, you've got to have poise enough to win, and we did not have that.
Coach, a disappointing loss, but the season does not end. Tom, as we said, a disappointing loss for the Gophers tonight, but they will come back again.
John, thank you, and thank Jim. It really takes a big man to come on live after a tough loss like that. Okay, well, let's look at the scoreboard. Michigan over Minnesota. Iowa beat Michigan State. One of the nation's biggest and finest sports banquets going on right now at the Radisson South out in Bloomington. The Twin Cities Minutemen sponsor the event, and they sprinkle it with a lot of big names. It is being emceed jointly by our Ron Majors and comedian Maury Amsterdam. Well, earlier tonight, I talked with one of the special guests, Oakland Raiders linebacker from Bloomington, Monty Johnson, about some charges made by the East and the West Coast press. They're saying that the Vikings could never belong in the same field with the Oakland Raiders. I want an honest answer from you. Do you agree with that?
Well, I think that we have a strong team, and we have a very strong offensive team. And I feel that if we can get the ball to our offense, nobody can stay on the field with us. You look at Kenny Stabler, as great a quarterback as he is, and the receivers that we have and our offensive line, there isn't anybody as good as we are, and it was proven this year in the Super Bowl.
He did not hedge on that answer. Philadelphia over Atlanta in the National Hockey League Wednesday. Colorado will visit the North Stars, 8 p.m. at the Met Sports Center.
Okay, what's the basketball Gophers win-loss record now?
Their overall record now, they're 16-2. Michigan is 18-2. And the rematch will be interesting on February 19th. The Gophers are still in the hunt, but they cannot lose any more until they get to that game.
They're under the pressure now. Good game, though, tonight. Thank you very much, Tom. Thank you very much. That'll do it for the news this Monday. Good evening.
Now, here is a young man in waiting for the best pro hockey offer to come along so he can start on that phase of his career. Reed Larson will turn pro because the Western Collegiate Hockey Association might have extended his suspension for pushing a referee. So Reed hopes to sign soon with Calgary of the WHA or Detroit of the NHL. In pro hockey as well, the Minnesota North Stars will try to stay in the hunt tomorrow night when they host Detroit at the Met Sports Center. The Stars are 5 points out of a playoff spot behind Colorado. 5 points behind Colorado. Face off tomorrow night, 8 p.m. Hockey scores tonight, National Hockey League. Good news for the North Stars, Cleveland over Colorado. In the World Hockey Association, Cincinnati shut out Winnipeg. Quebec defeated Indianapolis. In the Western Collegiate Hockey Association, the Gophers and Minnesota Duluth are tied, third period. In the Stallion Midget Hockey Tournament, quarterfinals, South St. Paul over the Lake Region. St. Croix defeated Duluth. In first-round games, Jefferson over Columbia Heights. And in the third period, Chicago leads East St. Paul 4-2. The Gopher basketballers will try to stay close to Michigan tomorrow night as they head on to Iowa. The Gophers hoping to run their record to 9-2. Michigan right now 11-1. Minnesota at Iowa tomorrow. Two-time National League batting champion Bill Madlock is headed from the Chicago Cubs to the San Francisco Giants, while outfielder Bobby Mercer and two lesser-known players are headed for the confines of Wrigley Field in Chicago. If what you're seeing is any indication, the downhill skiers are the ones who really love this mild weather. Downhill ski conditions are good to excellent throughout the upper Midwest despite the thaw. The recent cold weather allowed areas to make so much snow that it's not uncommon to find depths of 8 to 10 feet on some Midwest area runs. So with the mild weather and heaps of snow, you can say the skiing looks real fine. Also with the thaw, our thoughts can turn to camping, at least while the snow flies or temperature dips, to again remind us that we are on the outer perimeter of winter. The 10th Camping and Travel Show is underway through February 20th at the Minneapolis Auditorium, offering so many possibilities it boggles the mind. How about this? A camper helicopter. $400,000. I'll stick to my tent. Unbelievable. Look at that. It's called the Heli Home. Unreal. That's at the Minneapolis Auditorium. Rick Massengale continues to lead the Hawaiian Open Golf Tournament by 4 shots, and round 4 will be on Channel 5 tomorrow, 3:30.
Right. Just gather up the woman and the little ones and climb into your chopper, and away you go there, Tommy. Thank you very much. We're plumb out of time. Have a nice weekend. Thank you for watching.
Let's go to Tom and Patty at 18. Boy, Patty, we just saw Bonnie Bryant get into some trap trouble on 17, so she may be removing herself from contention here. She's 1 shot behind the leader, Kathy Whitworth, along with Sandra Post. Post and Bryant are 5 under. Whitworth is 6 under. And this is Sandra Palmer, who is at 2 under. She bogeyed the 17th to kind of throw herself out of contention here. And there is her third shot. Leaves it about 18 feet away to the left. And she'll need that for a birdie, about an 18-footer when she approaches and walks onto this 18th green. Now here is a lady who's won 76 tournaments, the all-time leading money winner. Boy, I tell you, she's going to have to stop it in a hurry. But she left herself a lot of green to shoot at coming in from the left, didn't she, Patty?
Oh, yeah. She hit a very fine second shot, and she's got a very good chance here to birdie this hole. And she's a very fine chipper and putter.
Oh, boy.
There's a very good shot. Very good. Excellent.
All right, she left herself about a 12-footer from the Keller Golf Course in St. Paul. This is the Patty Berg Golf Classic. All right, on the 18th green, Tom Ryther along with Patty Berg. You're looking at Jan Stevenson, who is 1 under for the tournament. She has about a 35-footer for a birdie here to go 2 under.
This is going to break to the left. Oh.
Just a great putt.
That was a fine stroke there.
Just a great putt.
And I'll tell you, I know all the people here at Keller have seen some fine and wonderful golf and some great golf swings. The LPGA girls at Women Pros are wonderful players, wonderful ladies, and got a tremendous amount of color, and they're very, very dedicated and great athletes.
Jan Stevenson, Mark Stevenson has won 2 tournaments this year. She's originally from Australia. And let's see, who's away now? Looks like Sandra Palmer.
This is another putt now that's going to break from right to left. She's going to have to hit this firm, because if she doesn't, it'll drop off.
This would be for a birdie, and it is about 18 feet away. She is 2 under for the tournament, 4 shots behind Kathy Whitworth. Sandra Palmer has won 15 tour events. She was the 75 Player of the Year. There's the 18-footer on the way, and off to the left again.
Off to the left. Swings off to the left. But that was a good try.
She'll have a tap-in for a par, and Sandra Palmer will finish the 1976 Patty Berg Classic at 2 under par. Now here's Jan Stevenson. Tapping in for her par, finishes the tournament at 1 under par. Be well into the money. $55,000 purse. Tell you, professional John Shortridge and assistant Pat Cutter and the crew out here at Keller can be very proud. The JC's 3M company. Of course, this fine lady to my left, very proud of her very own tournament, the Patty Berg Classic. Now here is our leader, and how far you think that is?
Oh, about what would you say, 12 feet?
I'd say every bit of it. Every bit of it. This is for a birdie. If she gets this birdie, it could well do it for her. It could well just ice it up. She got it! She got it! Boy, I'll tell you, there's a pressure putt if you've ever seen one. A birdie 4 for Kathy Whitworth here on this par 5 18th hole. Look at this smile. Being congratulated by Sandra Palmer, Jan Stevenson, the caddies, and a great gallery. This tournament's not over yet, though. Let's go to Ed Cairo 117.
If this production comes off, it'll be a miracle. We have so many things going on. We're going to have pole climbing and log rolling, and we're going to have an exhibition by a retriever dog. First of all, let's cover some sports news here at the Minneapolis Auditorium. This is our location right now, but we'll cover some things, and we'll get back to our extravaganza in a moment. The semifinals of the Class AA basketball tournament this afternoon at the Met Sports Center, and Burnsville, 2-point victory over Benel St. Margaret's in the semifinal game. That score 33-31. Amy McDermott may have been the difference for Burnsville. Quite a performance from the 5'10 junior forward. She scored a floor-high 16 points for the Braves. On the other hand, the only real point production from Benel came from Captain Joan Kowalski. She had 12 points, 10 of those in the second half. Otherwise, foul trouble hurt the Knights, including 4 on playmaker guard Lou Ann Dwyer. Burnsville led by as much as 8, but when Benel was able to cut the lead to 3 or 4 points late in the game, other fouls, like this one coming up by Teresa Dolan, kept them from pulling away. But Burnsville hung on to win it 33-31. The second game this afternoon found St. Cloud Apollo a convincing win over Cold Spring Rocori. Apollo wins it 48-32. They will meet Burnsville tomorrow night at the Met Sports Center for the AA championship. Rocori was at a height disadvantage against Apollo, but regardless, senior guard Nancy Seville had 14 points. Apollo was led by the Kuhlman sisters. Chris tied for game-high honors, 12 points along with sister Cindy. Apollo defeats Rocori 48-32. So tonight at the Met Sports Center, Class A semifinals, New York Mills against Marshall U. That'll be at 7 p.m. And then Heron Lake against Mayer Lutheran at 9. Also tonight, the National College Tournament for Women continues at Williams Arena at the University of Minnesota. Delta State, the favorite, will play Tennessee at 7 o'clock. The state Pee Wee A hockey tournament is off and rolling at the Cottage Grove Arena. One game has been completed. Rochester and Red skated to a 7-3 win over Anoka. East Grand Forks and Southwest are still playing. That tournament runs through Sunday afternoon. And in soccer, the Kicks went through their final workout today at Normandale Community College before taking a flight to Phoenix. They leave tomorrow for the first exhibition game of the season against St. Louis on Sunday. Also today, the Kicks have acquired midfielder Gene Strenisser from Toronto. He was their captain. He's here on a trial basis. They'll make a decision on him after they get back on this preseason road trip. Now, from the Minneapolis auditorium, we want to introduce you to the far end of the pool area, a gentleman by the name of Marvin Trudeau from Honeymoon Bay, British Columbia. He is the world record holder in pole climbing, and he is the best. Marvin, it's all yours. Marvin Trudeau, I'll give you an idea how good this guy is. He holds the world record, 100 feet in 31.3. That's 31.3 seconds. That's going up and coming down. Now, let's go over to the pool area, or let's meet a gentleman by the name of Phil Scott. If Phil's going to come right on in here, and Phil is from Nova Scotia, 7-time men's world log rolling champion, and Phil's going to do what they call, this is called tipping the block, right? Phil Scott, 7-time log rolling champion. He appears on the show here at the sports show, which goes now through April 3rd at the Minneapolis Auditorium. Boy, look at that. I wouldn't even try that with a swimming suit on. 7-time world champion. That's what you call tipping the block. And he's appearing on the show with Judy Shear, the world's women's champion. She's from Hayward, Wisconsin. All right, beautiful, Phil. Now let's go down at the other side of our pool. And Ray Summers, a professional dog trainer from Wisconsin. And let's see what kind of dog is that? Labrador? Black Lab. Look at that. Behaves better than my wife. Unbelievable. All right, thank you, Ray. Now, let's very quickly meet a gentleman here by the name of Ted Capra coming in. He's a professional fisherman, and Ted has a fishing exhibit here at the sports show. And there's a major reason I want to introduce you to this gentleman, because Ted will be supplying KSTP Sports, Eyewitness Sports, with fishing reports as the season goes along. And we have the Eyewitness Sports Fishing Clinic coming up when?
That'll be April 2nd. It'll start at about 11:30. The doors will be open at 11 o'clock, and we've got many good experts to give a free demonstration on depth finders, fish and tackle. It's going to be a good show. It's free to the public. It starts at 11:30 Saturday morning.
Okay, Ted, thank you very much. And we'll be looking forward to your fishing reports on Channel 5 as well as some fishing features.
That's right. We'll be doing them every week.
Well, Stan, no major problems. We got through it all, and that's an example of what's going on here at the sports show.
Dog behaves better than your wife, Tom. Don't go home tonight. Tom will leap 50 feet onto a kitchen sponge tonight at 10. Not really. We'll see you at 10. Good night.
Well, how's this for contrast? Last week we opened up the show at Mankato, Minnesota, but today we are on the Thames River in London, England, right across from Big Ben and the Houses of Parliament. Hi, everybody. I'm Tom Ryther. I'm the referee of this show. The stars, Tommy Kramer and Joe Sensor. Tommy is here in London. Joe is back in the Twin Cities nursing that bad knee. Get well in a hurry, will you?
Hi, everybody. I'm Randy Shaver along with Joe Sensor back here in Minnesota. We got a chance to watch the Vikings game, and that's going to be part of Vikings Replay.
Congratulations on the great win, 28-10 over, I think, a good Cardinal football team.
Well, thank you. We were happy with it. We wanted to come over and win the first football game here in Europe, and it was a great night for football. The weather was just gorgeous, nice and cool. Wind had a little bit of breeze, and the field at Wembley was just magnificent.
You know, football, I think, was meant to be played on a surface like that.
It was super.
Tommy, quite an experience here in London.
Oh, it was. It was really surprising to me. The fans knew exactly what was going on, it seemed like. I didn't expect it when I came over here, and it was very surprising.
They had 33,000 people there.
It seemed like a lot more people. That stadium holds around 100,000, and it just seemed, the noise that the crowd made, it just seemed like there was more people there.
Was the jet lag situation, was that a factor at all?
No, it wasn't during the game. Once the adrenaline starts flowing, then it just takes over. Then you're ready to go. You're ready to play.
Boy, what an opening they had! They had the Her Majesty's Royal Marine Band, and they had the United States Color Guard from the Marine base nearby. And I might add, with Sergeant Sean Smith out of St. Louis Park, Minnesota.
It was obvious they were both fans from England and Minnesota. And during the game, we had a chance to talk with some of them.
It's quite a good crowd, considering it's the first time. But it's a friendly crowd, a family crowd, which Wembley is not used to.
I think it's good. I wish the stadiums were higher, because I think the Brits can't really see. You know, they got the players sitting here, and there's not that many players when there's rugby and soccer. So they're having a hard time seeing through the players.
Okay, here we have some people from St. Croix Falls, Wisconsin. Come on down here, I want to talk to you. Do you ever think you'd be watching the Vikings in London, England?
Never, ever.
Are you enjoying it?
A great time, having a fantastic time.
Does it seem strange at all to you? It does to me.
Yeah, it does. I'm really happy to be here. It's a good game, exciting so far.
Do you understand what's going on?
No. We just cheer when everyone else cheers.
Do you know what's going on?
More or less, yeah. I've had to look at the book to see the rules, yeah. But it's a bit different actually watching the game than actually looking at the book, the rules. It's a bit hard to follow all the time.
All right, I'm going to ask the good Scott here, what is a touchdown worth? How many points?
Is it 7 points? Is that plus? Oh, plus the kick. Is it 7 points?
That's right.
Yeah.
And what do you get? So I have to give you this pop quiz, see if you're learning. What about a field goal?
A field goal. 3 points.
3 points, yeah.
You're all getting A's.
How tough was this for you to sit here and watch this game?
It was real tough. I woke up this morning about 7 o'clock, and I was in a cold sweat at 7 o'clock, and I turned the air conditioner on in here, and I thought it was the heat, but it wasn't. And it's awful hard to sit here and watch your teammates and knowing what they're going through and knowing what I could be going through. It's hard to describe. I just really missed it.
But to miss the one game, out of all the games, wouldn't you know it'd be this one?
Well, 2 years ago, I hurt my knee and I missed the Pro Bowl. After I was elected to that, I could have had a chance to go to Hawaii, spend 10 days out there, and I missed that. And now I have a chance to go to London, England. I missed that.
And we'll be back with more of Vikings Replay from London, England in a moment. Some of the key plays in the game, the first quarter touchdown to Teddy Brown made it 6-0.
Well, we had a bootleg on there, and I dropped back to pass. They were in the under defense, and I dropped back to pass. I was looking at defensive end to see when I was going to have to pull up when I bootlegged out to the right. And all of a sudden, I just hear this, Tommy, Tommy, Tommy. Teddy's screaming my name out. He's waving his arms in the end zone, trying to get my attention. And finally, I hit him, and it was a good play down that part of the field because the people aren't expecting a bootleg down there.
So in other words, the game of football, as sophisticated as it is, it still can be a little sandlot. I mean, if the guy's open, he's going to say, "Hey, get me the ball."
Oh, he's up there. Teddy's probably one of the best at yelling when he's open. And it's funny. However, whenever somebody's open, whenever they get back to the huddle, they always let you know. The wide receivers come back and say, "I was wide open," and I tell you what, they're open on every play.
Yeah, I was going to say, you got about 4 or 5 guys saying, "Hey, I'm open." That has to be confusing. We have to give St. Louis some credit. They came in with a pretty nice touchdown in the second quarter. Rusty Lish to Randy Love and made it 9-7.
Lish did a good job of getting away from the pass rush on that play, and that's things that good quarterbacks can do. They can come up with a big play when they're getting rushed. They can get away from from the defensive line and make the big play.
Big play last night, that reverse going to Leo Lewis.
Right, we've been working on that now for about the last week. And, you know, it never looks too good in practice because your defense is always ready for it and they're watching their keys in. But once you get into the game with the adrenaline and enthusiasm and the excitement, then it always makes the reverses that much better.
And then later on, you hit him on a pass for a touchdown that made it 18-7.
Right, that was a play right before the end of the half. And we have Leo Lewis in the slot on the left side, and he goes down the field and gives an out move. In fact, he had double coverage on that play. And he gives an out move, and he comes back to the post. And I didn't have a lot of time at that point, so I just threw the ball up to where I figured he might be, and just happened to be at the right spot.
Pretty good-looking athlete, isn't he?
Oh, he is. He can play. His dad was a great athlete, too.
Randy Holloway spent most of the night in the Cardinal backfield.
Oh, he did. And Randy is, Randy really played well for us at the end of last year, and he's just looking for better things this year, too.
And then, of course, last but not least, Rufus' best long return for a touchdown.
I'll tell you, Rufus had made a great run, but he also had some tremendous blocks on that play. And, you know, those are the kind of things that you have to have if you want to have a Super Bowl season.
Joe Sensor back in the Twin Cities. We miss you. We wish you were here, but get well. And now we want to get your thoughts on what happened in the football game at Wembley Stadium.
Well, Joe, ball game is over. You got to be pretty impressed with the Vikings' first game.
I was impressed. I was impressed that there weren't that many penalties. I thought it was nice that continuity offense was real good. And, geez, I was impressed. First game and only 8 days in training camp.
What surprised you most, let's say, as the game went on, offensively, besides Kramer? Was there something you saw, maybe the line play or the backs or something, or somebody, one person besides maybe Tommy?
A receiver core, I thought Marty McDowell showed an awful lot because Marty has not had a chance to play that much, and he's been under the shadow of Sammy White and Ahmad Rashad, and I think today they were kind of double teaming on Sammy because they figured Sammy was our only receiver. We had a chance to throw the ball to LeCount and McDowell a little bit more, and when you can have that in an offensive team like 2 years ago when they were throwing the ball a lot to me, it's because those guys were getting double teamed, so I was wide open. You can take a lot of pressure off a lot of people.
Let me ask you this. The Baltimore Colts are coming to town next week. They probably have gotten a chance, or maybe we'll get a chance to hear about the game or maybe see a little bit of the Vikings. They've got to be impressed with what they might see and what they should expect.
No question. Yeah, they were there. I'm sure they scouted our game, or at least they'll get a chance to view our films. And I think the most important thing is that we won this ball game in the fashion we did today. And going home now to our place, playing a ball game, I think we're going there with great confidence. Pick up where we left off. I think we played tremendous at the end of the season last year. And going into the new dome, help with the fans helping us out. And I think it's nothing but will make us better. And winning preseason games like this can only make a team better, and you have to get better.
On every one of our Vikings replay show, we're going to go into the locker rooms and talk to the players from both teams, and we did that at the game at Wembley. Randy, you guys went out there and I think beat a really good football team tonight. You were living in their backfield, it seemed like.
Oh, yeah, I think it was a lot easier to play the game than come through this crowd through Wembley here. But it was just a lot of things that we were doing, just making little fakes up on the line, and they just got a little let down at the beginning of the game. It was just easy for me all day.
Great way to start the preseason.
Oh, yeah, I just hope we can carry this all the way through the season as a team and me as a player, too.
Tommy, a great night for the defense here in Wembley Stadium.
Yeah, we played pretty well. What we're trying to do is continue from what we had last year. We played Dallas real well, played Atlanta real well, and we're just trying to carry it on over to this year. We think this is the year for the Vikings this year.
You made a fantastic interception. Tell me about that play.
Well, it was in a double man, a double zone, what we call it, and the guy sort of overthrew the ball and it was sort of low, and I just had to go out there and get it. But they've been preaching to us all week about not making a big play, so I figured I had a chance to make the big play, so I made it.
Big plays win ball games, and we had big plays. I think Leo Lewis's play was a big one to get us started. Rufus's touchdown return, he had a lot of help, on that. He had an interception. Dennis Johnson, I thought, played exceptionally well, made a lot of tackles in there. The usual names. Tommy had a good day. Teddy did well. But it's still those 2 or 3 big plays you get in the ball game that make the difference.
Any pleasant surprises?
Oh, I think there was Walter Lee came in the first play of the game. He's a professional football player, I think, and he got a quarterback sack. And that might be an omen of things to come because he's proving every day that he's a football player.
I'll tell you, this Cardinal football team, and I know in preseason it's hard to judge, a lot of players coming in and out, but it looks like a pretty good ball club.
I think we can be. We've got a good mixture of experience and youth, and we've got to believe in ourselves. That's the first thing. But believe that good things are going to happen, not the bad things, and we need to get that spirit going in this exhibition season.
I'd like to have a Jim Hart evaluation of the Minnesota Vikings.
Hey, they're pretty potent. They always have been. I'm impressed with the way they throw the football. That's my kind of game. I like to see the ball in the air like that. And I know Tommy has fun running the offense, and well, you can't help but have fun doing that, and I think the fans like that too.
And we'll be back with more after this.
Randy Shaver is covering the rookies in camp, and he has this week's update.
It seems every training camp since Rick Danmeyer took the kicking job away from Fred Cox 6 years ago, he's had to battle one or two rookies for his job, and this year is no exception.
23-year-old Steve Schonert dreamed of being an NFL kicker while growing up in Racine, Wisconsin. Back then, Chester Marco was kicking for the Packers. Steve studied his soccer style, tried it, found success, and has grown as a kicker ever since. It also didn't hurt Steve to kick inside this beautiful complex for 3 years in college, the Unidome on the campus of Northern Iowa in Cedar Falls. There, Steve set kicking records that may not be broken for some time. After his senior year, he earned a spot in the Blue-Gray All-Star game, but was passed over in the NFL draft. Disappointed but not discouraged, he walked into the Vikings camp as a free agent and has been nothing less than impressive.
Right off the bat, he got our attention just on the kickoffs because he had such a strong leg, kicked the ball very well, and was consistent at it, which is the most important thing.
I think one of the best things that he does is he handles the pressure a little bit better. I think that he's got a good attitude and a good outlook on how to go about doing it, and I think that he understands the ins and outs of kicking maybe a little bit better than some of the others that have come in.
I didn't know what to expect when I first came in. You know, I'm after his job, and obviously he wants to hold his. At first, it was very tight, I thought, and then it loosened up, and now I think we get along pretty good. He's helped me an awful lot. He's given me some tips that he says he hasn't given other kickers who have been into camp in the past.
Steve says Dan Meyer has helped him understand a kicker's role in the NFL, which during training camp means more than practicing extra points.
We don't have to learn the plays and what the other players do, but it's a lot of mental fatigue. You don't know what they expect, and they don't tell you very much. You have to ask and find out and follow and just be very attentive of what's going on and try to pick things up as you go.
Steve Schonert is a quick learner and handles pressure well. In London Saturday, he proved that by kicking his first professional field goal, a 45-yarder right through the uprights. Certainly did not earn him the Vikings kicking job, but did fulfill a backyard dream of kicking in the NFL. Reporting for Vikings Replay, I'm Randy Shaver.
Going through the chow line, there are quite a few big eaters in camp, but mainly one. And Jeff Passold has this week's story for us.
Our report begins here in the lower level of the Vikings training camp headquarters at Gage Hall on the Mankato State University campus. Everything you see has something to do with the preparation of the Vikings training table, because head chef Paul Hayward is giving us a tour of the Vikings food storage locker. And once you hear and see what the Vikings go through at mealtime, you'll be amazed.
Fruit juice is very popular, so we're going through about 100 gallons of juice a day right now. Orange juice, lemonade, grape juice, fruit punch, and that doesn't even include the iced tea, which is about another 15 gallons a day. Some of the red meats, we'll be looking at about 1,300 pounds of roast beef during the camp and another 1,100 pounds of steaks. We'll probably go through about 300 to 400 pounds of crab legs. Lobster tails, there'll be about some 650 lobster tails consumed during this camp.
Now, if that didn't whet your appetite, maybe this will. There are enough steaks here to feed an army, and that's just about what it will take. Now, I know you're probably all wondering, when are we going to get to see the players eat? Well, the Vikings have a rule here at their training camp in Mankato: no cameras in the cafeteria while the players are eating. But that's not going to keep us from finding out who has the biggest appetite.
Some are fast eaters and some are slow eaters. Some are certainly big eaters. Duck White probably, I think, is generally agreed that he probably eats as much of certain things.
Duck's a big chicken man, big frog legs man. He's pretty much just a big man.
So, the unanimous choice as the training table chow line leader is James Duck White. The secret to Duck's success is simple.
I keep count of what I do eating, you know. It's just something that comes natural. I just eat and eat and eat until I get enough, that's all.
You do get enough eventually, huh?
Yeah, eventually. After about 45 minutes, maybe I get enough.
The runner-up, another big man, offensive lineman Jim Huff. And those receiving honorable mention, 300-plus pounder Curtis Rouse, defensive tackle Doug Martin, and believe it or not, Vikings coach Bud Grant.
Bud gains about 10 or 15 pounds every camp. It's a lot of free food up there.
Now, there's one other thing I forgot to mention about this Vikings training table, and that's that the media gets to partake in every meal, too. Tonight, well, the menu looks pretty doggone good, and it's time to eat. So for Vikings Replay, I'm Jeff Passold.
We'll be back for more of Vikings Replay from London, England in a moment.
This coming Saturday at the Metrodome, the Baltimore Colts. What do you know about them? They're kind of a young ball club, sort of unknown in a way.
Well, they are, but we had enough trouble with them last year. We did not play one of our better games against them in the Dome after the strike, and they gave us a little bit of trouble. Mike Pagel has been a quarterback for Cush at Arizona State. It did a good job for him, so we're looking forward to an interesting match.
Defensively from the Colts, they have a lot of young guys. I do remember them having a lot of young guys on the defensive line, which kind of hurt them a little bit. Their secondary was probably their strongest point. They had some weakness at linebacker. Now, whether or not Frank Cush has gone out and really tried to support that or not, it's going to remain to be seen. I think the Colts are a team that's a very young team. If we get down on them, like if we score a couple touchdowns early, it's all over.
But they won their first game. They've got to be coming into this game feeling pretty good about it.
No question. They won 15-0 the other day, and that's very important. And but now they're going on the road a little bit, and I'm sure they're going to come in our place and knowing that we beat them twice last year, and we usually play pretty well at the Dome, so I think we'll do all right.
What about their offense?
Well, their quarterback, Pagel, is a very young quarterback, and I remember quite a few games last year, especially the two games we played against us. He threw the ball up for grabs a little bit, and we picked a few of them off. Hopefully, for our sake, I hope he keeps doing that, but I'm sure he won't. I'm sure he's kind of refined his game a little bit and is trying to be a more controlled passing quarterback. But Baltimore's not that way. Frank Cush is the type of guy who loves to run the football. He loves those big bruising backs like with the McMillans. But if we can just contain them in short yard situations, 3rd and 6, 2nd and 7, things like that, we'll have no problem with them.
So Baltimore and the Dome it's going to be a pretty good game, don't you think? I mean, they'll give us a tough...
There's no question. We played terrible against them last year at the Dome. That was probably our worst football game this season. And I know that's on a lot of guys' minds because I remembered it, and I'm sure a lot of guys will.
One of the last things I expected to see here in London, England, was a football team made up of Britishers, and there is one.
There is. They were out at practice when we came over there, and they were real excited about it.
I got a kick out of it. We turned our cameras on the players while they stood around and asked the Vikings questions about football.
You said you have a strong side. What do you mean have a strong side?
Well, see what we do on defense, right? The guy I showed you, Matt, plays on the left side, and I play on the right side linebacker. Well, when the offense comes out on the set, they'll have a strong side, and generally in American football, the strong side is always to our defensive left.
What sort of training do you need for your particular position?
Well, you need to be able to backpedal, be able to cover man for man all over the field, and mostly just be able to just play.
The London newspapers are saying that John Marshall may have lost up to $750,000 in that football game at Wembley Stadium, but I talked to him during the game, and he seemed just as happy as could be.
I think it's fantastic. It's very exciting.
Are you going to do it again?
Absolutely, next year.
I think it was worth it because I think it's great when we can get international publicity for our sport. This year they showed our games weekly on a delayed basis, game of the week, and that interested some people here, and I think it's good.
that's just about it here for our show from London, England, and what a trip it has been. Now, next week I'll be on vacation. Randy Shaver and Jeff Passel will be your hosts. They'll be refereeing, and our stars, Tommy Kramer and Joe Sensor, will be with you once again.
Thank you, Tom. And we got off to a great start here in London, England, and we're looking forward to seeing you again next week on Vikings Replay.